Inside a modern hospital at this hour of the day, shifts are changing quickly, efficiently, smoothly. For here time is not measured into nights and days, seconds, minutes, and hours. Here time is measured in the surge and flow of decision. Decision, decision, decision.
Withdrawal fluids.
What about the sensitivity on this patient in 505?
Let's get him ready for surgery. I need 2 more units of blood.
Decision, decision, decision. But no decision imposes a greater burden on the physician than those decisions which recognize that a patient's illness involves more than muscle and tissue and bone.
Doctor? Father. Oh, Father. Father McCleary, isn't it, from Rosedale?
Yes?
I'm Dr. Jordan.
Yes, I know.
I saw you leaving the room of one of my patients yesterday, Edgar Curtis. He's one of your parishioners, isn't he?
Yes, I'm on my way to see Ed now.
Well, there's no hurry about seeing him.
Oh?
No. It's just that he's still under anesthesia. I've just come from surgery myself.
How is he?
You know, of course, he was scheduled for a gallbladder operation.
Yes, I know. Poor Ed. He's had more than his share of hard luck.
Oh, has he? How did he take it? You see, I don't really know him. He was referred to me by a doctor in Rosedale, and he was a pretty sick man when I talked to him yesterday, so he wasn't up to telling me very much.
Well, I've known Ed Curtis for a good number of years. What can I do that'll help, Doctor?
I think you can probably do a great deal. For me first, and then for him.
All right.
Edgar Curtis is going to need all the help he can get. It wasn't just an acute gallbladder condition. I found metastatic cancer of the liver. He's got a few months left. 6, maybe? I don't know.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Now, do I tell him? Do I tell him he's going to die? Or do I just tell him that the operation this morning was a success, which is true? I know he's not married. That would give me one thing to go on. A married man has responsibilities, deserves a chance to get his affairs in order.
No, Ed's not married. One of those unfortunate combinations of circumstance. His mother was a very difficult person to live with, domineering. Made decisions as to the kind of work he'd do, when he'd have enough money saved to get married. By the time his parents were gone, both within a few weeks' time last winter, the girl had gotten tired of waiting and had married someone else.
Any other family?
Distant relatives, perhaps. No one close that I know of.
Well, that complicates it. I've seen some patients, especially lonely people, who simply couldn't take this final blow. They just gave up. Sometimes the hard facts kill faster than the affliction.
I don't know about Ed. I think his faith would sustain him. I don't think he'd break up.
And if he didn't, if he knew, if I could tell him, well, sometimes people who've been failures become productive. And they seem to be able to bear the pain better because they're not thinking about the pain. They're thinking about what they have to do in the time they have left. I wish I could make it easier for him. But no. No, a man who's had nothing but bad luck, shock after shock. How can you tell him a thing like this? I can tell him that he's going to need more medical care without going into the details, and I guess that's the best thing.
Well, you know Ed's condition better than I do. I won't try to tell you what's best for your patient. But
But what?
But I wonder if it is the best thing not to tell him everything in this case. You see, all his life, Ed Curtis, through no fault of his own, has missed out on the meaningful experiences that make us aware we're alive. He's lived a very colorless, humdrum existence. Getting up in the morning, going to work, coming back home. He's never had a chance to realize the greatness that's in him. That's in all of us. And here finally is an opportunity to rise to an occasion gloriously. It may well be the last opportunity he'll ever have. But he's your patient. It's still your decision.
Yes, it's still my decision.
I'm Calder Maxwell. I have a 10 o'clock appointment with Dr. Borelli in radiology.
Yes, Mr. Maxwell. Will you take the elevator to the 5th floor? Dr. Borelli's office is the last one on the right after you leave the elevator.
Thank you.
Cancer. Why can't I make myself believe it's actually happening to me? Pain in the back sometimes is all I thought it was. Malignant lymphoma, they say. Surgery not indicated. It's got to mean it's bad. Or they can operate on anything these days. The heart, kidneys, the brain. But not on me. They can't on me. Cobalt therapy, they said. What does that mean? What are they going to do to me? Are they just doing something to make me think I have a chance? If I'm going to die, I'd rather it was on the operating table. Quick and clean. I don't want to die by inches. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Malignant cells may multiply rapidly in a man's body, but not as rapidly as destructive fears multiply in his heart. And a doctor's decision to eradicate the malignant cells is less than complete unless it includes the decision to help his patient eliminate his deadly fears.
Well, I'm glad you could come, even though we're not going to be admitting you for therapy until tomorrow. Mr. Maxwell, I don't know how much your family physician has told you, but I've found that it helps when a man knows what he's up against. Now, I'd like to explain your condition to you as fully as I can. I want to tell you what your treatment will be like. If you have the time, I'd like to take you through the treatment room, show you our equipment, tell you what it'll do. And a little later, I'd like you to meet a man here who may be able to help you in a way I may not be able to help you during your treatment and your convalescence.
Tell you the truth, Doctor, sometimes my imagination runs away with me, not knowing exactly how bad it is or what's coming up next.
Well, these are your pictures, Mr. Maxwell. Now, this shadowy mass is a tumor. That explains the pain you've been having. Now, you will lie here. I will be outside watching through that small window. Now, this part of the machine will rotate slowly around you, focusing its rays on the area to be treated. There'll be a buzzing noise. You'll hear that. You'll hear me if I speak with you over the intercom, but you won't feel anything. Nothing at all.
But afterward, will I have burns?
No, no surface burns.
But I've heard about radiation sickness.
After several treatments, some nausea, perhaps. We'll try to control that with medication. But it's quite likely you'll experience periods of depression. There'll be times when you'll be conscious of weakness, and not just muscular weakness. You may feel as if you're at the end of your rope. That's why I want you to meet the person I spoke to you about, Chaplain Kraft.
Oh, now, I'm not much of a churchgoer.
Well, I'm not either. But then who needs courage or the patience to endure physical stress in church? George, can we see you a minute?
Hi, Rick.
Chaplain Kraft would like you to meet Calder Maxwell. He'll be a patient in my wing starting tomorrow. Can you imagine this long, sad face bringing doomsday into your sick room?
Oh, hardly. Dr. Borelli seems to think that we should get acquainted.
What about you, Mr. Maxwell? How do you feel?
I'll go along with my doctor's decision.
Come in, both of you.
Go ahead.
The faith that helps a patient fight his fears is a vital factor in total health, whether it's a faith in a source of strength beyond his own, or faith in the skill and compassion of his physician, or preferably, ideally, both kinds of faith, working collectively for the benefit of the patient as a whole. This has been a day like 1,000 other days for Jennifer Taylor. And now, a moment to relax, to look over a new magazine.
Dougie?
your child's first name?
Dougie.
Is it Dougie or Douglas?
Douglas. Douglas.
Thank you. What is your address, please?
221 Kedzie.
How old is your child?
4.
I'm Dr. Markham, Mrs. Taylor. There's nothing I can do. Does your husband know? Can we call him?
I couldn't find his other shoe. They must have left it on the street. He'll need his other shoe.
Mrs. Taylor, your little boy is gone.
Oh, no. It isn't true. It isn't true. No. Oh, Dougie.
Promazine, 25 milligrams, I am. And get Chaplain Scott.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
A child, accident case, DOA. His mother's a Mrs. Taylor. I've given her a sedative, but she needs help till her husband arrives. Maybe you could talk to her in there.
Oh, I gotta stay with Dougie. I gotta stay with my baby.
Chaplain Scott will stay with you.
Mrs. Taylor.
Chaplain, don't come to me with your prayers. I prayed already. All the way down to the ambulance, I prayed. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. What kind of a God could will a thing like this? Oh. Brand new. You hardly got to wear them. It's all my fault. All my fault. If only I hadn't dozed off. I hadn't forgotten to latch the door.
Words, any words, can be hollow and empty at a time like this. Except those words which spill from the heart of the sufferer. Words which release those feelings which must be voiced to one who can share the suffering, not in judgment, but in love and compassion. The wounded spirit must be bled of its agony, that the wound, in time, may heal. Later, there will be room in the shattered heart to receive the message of God's love. The doctor's decision to call for the clergyman is recognition that a broken heart is as much a medical problem as a broken bone might be. For a human being is not divisible into things of the flesh and things of the spirit. The Talmud says, "When I could not speak, my bones wore away." And a physician cannot ignore that truth any more than he can ignore physical causes for disability. Jennifer Taylor needs the physician, and she needs the clergyman. And they, if they are to help her, need each other. It is mid-afternoon now, and Lydia Hurwitz is nearing the end of the journey that has suddenly cut short her visit to her child in school, a journey bringing her thousands of miles to her injured husband's bedside.
No. Yes, that'll be fine. Thank you.
Which is Mr. Hurwitz's room? Mr. Joseph Hurwitz.
Yours, wife. Room 309, Mrs. Hurwitz.
Okay. Oh, may I leave this here, please?
Yes, of course.
I'd really like to have. Get me a pretty bed jacket to cover up this pretty.
Grandpa.
Lydia.
Oh. I've been out of my mind trying to get here. Now I can't go in. I can't.
You can, Lydia. He needs you more than he's ever needed you before.
Oh, God. Better alive.
No, Lydia. No, Lydia. Alive. Your husband's been badly hurt, but he's alive.
Yes. Alive. Go in with me. Joe, I'm home. Joe, darling.
Lydia. Oh, God.
I think we'd better let him rest. You can see him again tomorrow morning. Nurse will be in the chapel. We can talk in here. I've been able to get a more complete evaluation since I called you, Mrs. Hurwitz. The spinal cord is severed. If the break had been higher, it would have affected his breathing. And our problem would have been even more serious than it is now.
But is there any hope he'll get better?
The paralysis is permanent.
Arms, legs, his whole body. Oh, how much worse off could he be than he is now? A man who loves to hunt and fish without legs. An architect without hands. Oh, what's to become of us? He just started doing some of the things he wanted to do. This building he was working on. His first major commission after all the years of ordinary jobs. Joe.
Mrs. Hurwitz, while your husband's injury is extremely severe, his life is not over. As soon as he's physically able, we can begin rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation? Can you give him back his legs? Can you give him back his arms? Can you give me back my husband?
Lydia, is Joe's work done only with his hands? The architect is here. God has spared the architect. Other hands can draft and build, but could not be built without Joe's vision.
Don't try to tell me everything's going to be all right. Nothing will ever be the same again.
No, it won't be. That doesn't mean that everything you have built together is gone. And in a way, Lydia, you have the hardest job ahead of you. You have to have the courage to help Joe lift himself out of his despair. His life is still worth living. God still has work for him to do. And you must make up your mind to accept that. And make him accept it. Encourage him. Goad him if necessary. So that he will learn how to use the rehabilitation devices that will make him functional again.
How can I?
With God's help. My help. The doctor's help. But God's help most of all.
Heavenly Father,
we ask that thy blessed strength be with us in the days which lie ahead. Give us the wisdom and the courage to make the right decision as we minister to Joseph Owens.
Oh, Father.
Well, Dr. Jordan, you're getting away late tonight.
reports. I not only have to decide what to do, I have to decide why I decided it. And then put it all down in triplicate. You're not usually here this late yourself.
No, committee meeting. People in my parish wanted to give a party for the patients in the geriatrics wing, and I came back in to help make arrangements with your chaplain here.
There's always something more to do.
Isn't there?
Still, I wouldn't change it, our lot in life. You know, I've thought a lot today about what you said of my patient Edgar Curtis, how he lived a colorless, humdrum existence. You sure can't say that about us. We live where the living is sometimes harsh and hard to take, but it's real.
It's always real, for both of us.
Old Ambroise Paré, father of modern surgery, I guess he pretty well summed it up, the link between you and me. You remember his phrase, je le pensais, Dieu le guérisse.
Yes. Je le pensais, Dieu le guérisse. You're right. I guess that says it about as well as it can be said. For both of us. Good night, Doctor.
Good night, Father.